Hello, Hawkeyes. Welcome to Starting Strong at Iowa, an Iowa Challenge podcast series. My name is Sydney Rupp. I am a junior majoring in political science and English with a minor in public policy, and I am on the Orientation Services Executive Team.
And I'm Megan Miskovic. I just graduated with a degree in neuroscience. I am also on the Orientation Services Executive Team. We will be your hosts for the Starting Strong at Iowa and Iowa Challenge podcast series.
This series is designed to help you feel more confident and prepared as you start your journey at the University of Iowa. So whether you're listening to this in the summer, during your first week of class, or even later in the semester, this series is meant to meet you where you are. Today we'll be covering the Iowa Challenge pillar, Engage.
Engage is all about being an active part of the University of Iowa community, getting involved, building relationships, showing up, and finding spaces where you feel connected. It's also about taking initiative. Engagement doesn't always mean joining every organization possible. It can be as simple as going to a campus event, talking to someone in class, or stepping outside of your comfort zone.
To help us talk about Engage today, we're excited to welcome Jake Drews, Anna Larson, and Hayden Streeter. Jake, Anna, and Hayden, thank you so much for being here.
Hello! Hey. Oh, excited to have you here. Before we jump in, can you introduce yourselves to our listeners?
Hello, my name is Hayden Streeter. I am a third year majoring in French and Arabic and multilingual education, and I am the vice president of Survivor Iowa, a student organization here at University of Iowa, and also a member of the Tabletop Gaming Organization.
Hi, I'm Anna. I am a civil engineering senior, and I am the co-chair of the University Lecture Committee, and I'm also involved in a club called Continental Crossings.
Hi, my name is Jake Drews. I'm a third year majoring in biochemistry and public health, and I'm the president and treasurer of Survivor Iowa, and I'm also a member of the Tabletop Gaming Organization.
Awesome, thank you. To start us off, how do you define Engage in the context of the Iowa Challenge?
I think of Engage as seeking out organizations on campus and getting involved in different ways, just finding that extra levels of community in the form of student orgs.
When I think of Engage in the context of the Iowa Challenge, I think it sounds so easy to just get involved, engage with events or orgs on campus, but I truly think it belongs in the word challenge because it can be really intimidating to involve yourself in clubs, and it's so hard, I think, to know as a freshman coming in if you're going to be interested in these clubs based off their titles alone and maybe a 5-minute interaction you had at the org fair. So I think it is a challenge to just take some risks, put yourself out there, take some guesses and get it wrong until you take some guesses and get it right.
When I think about Engage at the context of the Iowa Challenge, I just think of engagement, and that can come in a lot of different forms. It doesn't have to be a student organization that you're a leadership member in. It doesn't have to be you don't have to be a recurring member of an organization, but just going and putting yourself out there and trying new things, and even outside of student organizations, going to events like those on Iowa or during finals week is also engaging with the community and with the university.
Yeah, Anna, I absolutely agree with what you said. That saying get engaged, get out there sounds very straightforward, very easy, but it often involves putting yourself out there, which can seem intimidating to new students. Can you share a time when you stepped outside of your comfort zone at Iowa, maybe going to an event alone, joining something new, or meeting new people to become engaged? How did that feel?
Yeah, sure. So as I said before, I'm part of this club on campus called Continental Crossings that's housed in the engineering school, but anyone can join. And the first time I heard about the club is a student from the club came to my class to talk about it and invite people to join. And I thought it sounded really interesting. They fundraised to build pedestrian bridges in rural Africa and Bolivia. So I went to the first meeting and I showed up, and everyone in the club was super great friends. Everyone knew each other, and I was just a sophomore, kind of on the outskirt of the club. But I thought it was super cool, and the people were super nice. So even though it was kind of awkward to kind of hang out 10th wheel with a group of friends, I made sure to just keep showing up, keep getting to know the people, and make myself part of this club. And now those people are some of my closest friends on campus. But it was intimidating, certainly, but I'm glad I stuck it out.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that sentiment. The first student organization that I ever visited was the Tabletop Gaming Organization, and it was definitely very nerve-wracking at the start, because a lot of people already knew each other, and I felt like I was on the outskirts, but it's so worth it to get over that hurdle and stay involved in those communities that you're interested in, because it is like definitely the way that I've formed the closest relationships that I've had on campus, and just I think it's really worth it for forming a sense of community.
Yeah, I think that stepping out of your comfort zone is extremely important, especially when you're going to university. One of the, I guess, first times I stepped out of my comfort zone was also going to the tabletop gaming organization. It was at the end of my first year. I hadn't gone to another student organization meeting of any kind, and I had actually arrived late and was extremely stressed about it because I knew that people had probably started games and everybody probably already knew each other. And so I felt like if I was late, I wasn't going to have an in to like get to know people because I wouldn't be able to like start a game. That being said, they were very welcoming. And I feel like a lot of student organization leaders and student organization members are extremely welcoming because they want their organization to grow and they want everybody to feel welcomed, and everybody's there to feel that sense of community. And they were so kind and welcoming, and I had a wonderful time that night that like I came back every night, and I've made some of like my long-lasting friends through that organization because of stepping out of my comfort zone and going to that event.
Yeah, totally. I agree with all of you. One of my favorite sayings is through fear lies freedom. So as soon as you get over the fear of being alone or going to a certain organization alone and trying to exert yourself in a way that's might be scary is when you're truly going to find your happiness and find where you belong in an organization, as if you give it your all and finally just be able to get there. One of the biggest benefits of being engaged during your time at Iowa is creating a community through shared engagement. Can you shout out a community you've joined or created through your engagement during your time here?
One of the communities that I've joined during my time at the University of Iowa has been the Tabletop Gaming Organization. They host board game nights, they do Magic the Gathering nights, D&D nights, Blow on the Clock Tower. They're a really great organization to meet people, and they're very welcoming.
I have found a really great community and group of people on campus that is very like-minded and that I respect and have grown a lot through the University Lecture Committee, but I would actually want to shout out more so my classmates. I think that making an effort to meet up with your classmates, study with them, be in similar locations and study, not even to study with them, but just to text each other for homework help and be supportive of each other has given me more of a feeling of community than even the clubs I've joined. So I really encourage people to get to know your classmates, even if it's kind of out of your comfort zone, and maybe those people aren't as like-minded as you. You're going to get a lot more variety in majors than through clubs which have shared interests, but I think there's more of a feeling of support, and you guys are going through the same classes together, and I have found a real community just within my own major.
I've got to give a shout out to Survivor Iowa. It's the community that is the most special to me. I founded it 2 years ago, and it's been really fulfilling just to watch that community grow and flourish, and to see so many people become friends through that organization. Survivor Iowa is a student organization for Survivor fans or people who want to be fans of Survivor. We get together every week and we watch Survivor live on Wednesday nights, and it's so energetic and just electric watching an exciting TV show with a large group of people. It's a really easy way to create friendships by just watching this common thing together. And then something else that we do is we host live reality games of competitive reality TV shows. We host games of Survivor. We host games of The Traitors. We do a variety of live reality games, and what we try to do through that is provide a unique experience to students on campus. It's a really cool way to experience one of these competitive games and just get to know people through a cool experience. And I think it's important to note that as passionate as we are about like all of our student orgs, there's going to be people out there who are just as passionate about things that you're interested in. And if there isn't an org out there, the university provides really great resources for being able to start a student organization.
Yeah, thank you guys. So something we will also talk about with our Choose pillar is how it can be tough sometimes to not oversaturate our schedules with engagements. You three are all highly involved. How do you balance when to say no to new engagement opportunities?
When I was a freshman, I hadn't really found any orgs that I really loved or like knew I wanted to do, so I just tried everything. And well, not everything, I tried like 3 things, but that was a time where I was saying yes to a lot of things. And then sophomore year, I found my niche more so in lecture committee and then later in Continental Crossings. And once I found those clubs I was really passionate about, for example, lecture committee, we bring speakers onto campus. So we bring names like Bill Nye, John Green, Brittany Broski, and plan these events for all students, but if you're on the committee, you're the one planning the events. And that is just something I thought was so fun and so cool, and I wanted to really give it my all. So once I found that club and org that meant more to me than any other club and org, then that's when it was time to start saying no and kind of focus in on what I really was interested in. But before that, in order to find that, I had to just say yes to a lot of things.
I think it's really important to just be open to new opportunities and say yes to opportunities in your first year especially. I think that's the best time to be trying new things, figure out what you like, figure out what you don't like, and through all that, you'll figure out a way to prioritize what's most important to you on top of like the transition to college and academics and everything. And through all that, you learn valuable skills of just prioritizing your time and what you're most interested in and passionate about.
I think it is difficult to make sure you don't oversaturate your schedules because during your first couple of years, you will probably be saying yes to a lot of things. You want to like get yourself out there, make new friends, have new experiences. That's like a big part of what college is about. I think that balancing when you say no completely depends on your schedule. If you're taking 12 semester hours, you don't have a leadership role in a student organization, or you don't have like regular time commitments that you have to be a part of, you may be able to say yes and to more opportunities. And I think it's also to keep in mind that when you think of these opportunities, having to say no now because of your schedule does not mean you can't say yes to these opportunities later on. Because your schedule one semester may look completely different than your schedule another semester. And of course, saying yes to those opportunities may make you have to say no to more opportunities in the future, but you're not going to know unless you take those chances, take those leaps, and figure out what is important to you during your time at the university.
All right, folks, we're going to wrap up with a quick lightning round, 1 word or short answer phrases only. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right. Very, very in sync. What is your favorite place to study on campus?
The IMU.
The engineering building.
The Linguist Center.
And then your go-to snack or favorite drink during a long study session.
A hot chai latte and Skittles.
Anything with peanut butter.
Nutter Butters.
What's the most underrated resource at Iowa?
Oh, definitely the food pantry.
All of the events run by student orgs out of the IMU.
I wouldn't call it underrated, but the university counseling is a great resource that should be used more often.
And then 1 word to describe your first semester at Iowa.
Overwhelming.
I was going to say underwhelming.
I'll just say whelming.
It gets better. I feel like even with a lot of hope for freshman year, it goes up.
Awesome.
I agree with awesome. Very, very whelming, too. Yeah. All right, thank you all 3 for sharing. Thank you so much for being here, discussing your experiences with your student orgs on campus. I think our students hopefully will get engaged, get involved their first semesters, and then start prioritizing after that. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. And what I love about the Engage Pillar is that it encourages students to be active participants in their own Iowa experience. We want new students to be the author of their journey here, and that engagement piece can be a huge determiner of how that story unfolds.
Thank you for joining us for episode 3 of Starting Strong at Iowa and Iowa Challenge podcast series. We hope today's conversation helped you understand the Engage Pillar and reminded you that you belong here and you are very capable of succeeding at Iowa.
In our next episode, we will be talking through the Choose Pillar with a new guest, new stories, and a deeper dive into the Iowa Challenge.
As a reminder, today's content and more can be accessed on Orientation Services YouTube page, which can be found through our website, newstudents.uiowa.edu. Thank you all for listening to today's podcast with Jake Drews, Anna Larson, and Hayden Streeter. Please join us for our future virtual sessions hosted through Orientation Services at the University of Iowa. I hope to see you all there, but until then, on Iowa,
Go Hawks!